Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my review of WWE's Fastlane. It is the final stop on the road to WrestleMania, and, well, it was a pay-per-view, let's just say that. If you don't know how I rate pay-per-views, I give each match a rating, then we average those ratings together to get our final pay-per-view score. So let's get right into this thing. The United States Championship match of Riddle versus Ali was on the kickoff show. This match was actually pretty decent with a lot of good back and forth action. Riddle is really getting to display his skills in the ring. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for out of the ring. But this match was pretty good nonetheless. Riddle retained his title, and then afterwards Retribution decided it was time for Ali to go. Hopefully this means he'll stop doing his Batman voice, because I mean really, does anybody really believe that's how he talks? This match gets 7.6. The first match on the main card was Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team titles. I'm really getting tired of the same repetitive finish with Reginald interference. We've seen it 8 times already, and to be honest, Sasha Banks matches are kind of growing stale for me. It feels like the same exact format every single time. Also, am I like the only one bothered by the fact that Reginald is getting more screen time than guys like Aleister Black? Yes, he is still on the roster. This ended as expected, with the champs retaining in a big argument between Banks and Belair. This match gets 7.9. I am curious though, they've been advertising that all titles will be defended in Mania, so who's going to face Jax and Baszler? We already have one stupid tag match with Styles and Omos versus The New Day, so do we really need another one? Next up, we had Big E versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a really great match. These two have put on some great matches over the last few weeks. Unfortunately, I'm not really a big fan of Apollo's new gimmick, but it's interesting, not the worst thing we've seen in recent memory. The finish to this match was a little odd, and even the commentary team wasn't sure what happened. Apollo went for the pin, the ref counted 2, hit 3 on the mat, but didn't count it. Then Big E covered Apollo, and she hit the 3 count, but it was a really awkward angle, and it was hard to tell who pinned who here. After the match, Apollo went in with a good old-fashioned beatdown, just before telling Big E it wasn't over. Can we have just one feud that ends with a pay-per-view match? The match was good, but the awkward finish in short time took it down to about an 8.2. Following this, we had the advertised match of Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. Shane had received a knee injury, clearly a work, and was unable to compete, so in replacement, he convinced Elias to compete for him. Elias, of course, was squashed by the big man, but it would have been pretty funny to see Braun lose here. I love Shane. Braun is okay. This feud is just not working for me. In simplest terms, it's really just, Shane said it best, stupid. This match gets a 4.2. Up next, we had Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This match was really great with some awesome action between the two, and easily one of the best matches of the night. I cannot wait for Rollins versus Cesaro at Mania, as they have really good chemistry backstage and in the ring. Nakamura is a fantastic wrestler, and I really think if anyone is going to take that title off Big E, it should be him or Cesaro. Rollins pinned Nakamura for the win, and this match gets a 9. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus No Holds Barred was next, and this match wasn't too bad. Personally, I'm not a fan of Sheamus. I think much like many of the talents on the roster, he puts on the same match against every competitor. I'm not saying that's his fault. This was definitely one of his better matches though, more interesting. Back and forth with some great spots, such as Sheamus hitting white noise through the commentary table and Drew putting Sheamus through the LED screen. I think it was a good way to build Drew up as the challenger to the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, but I'm really putting for Bobby Lashley to earn an upset victory. Of course, Drew won the match and earned the match itself, an 8.9. Then our next match, can I even call this a match? Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. Immediately, Randy started coughing up that black crap we've seen for the past 2 weeks, and I guess Alexa is just straight magic now, causing fire to come out from the ring, shooting a fireball, making her own lights fall from the ceiling. It was just weird. I'm not a fan of the way they've taken both Alexa and the Fiend's gimmicks, and I think they're killing all the momentum Randy Orton had last year. It's kind of hard to remember that literally just 4 months ago, he held the WWE Championship. But, of course, then the big moment, the Fiend returned wearing a new outfit, all charred and burned up and melted. It's interesting. I'm really hoping he doesn't keep this look. I don't know, nothing about the Fiend has been the same since that dreaded day at Super Showdown last year. He had so much potential, and then they ruined him right away with the Hell in a Cell match. He had an amazing feud with Bryan that really sparked the interest again, and then they killed that interest with the god-awful Super Showdown. The Firefly Funhouse match was pretty cool. His feud with Braun wasn't terrible, but it was at this point that they began to really overdo the gimmick. Then, of course, you had that Orton stuff, which was okay, and then the Firefly Inferno match, which, personally, I didn't hate. Then Alexa and Randy just totally turned me off of this. Hopefully, in the future, the Fiend can be restored as Bray Wyatt in his creative genius, but for now, this segment gets a 5.8. Lastly, we had the main event, the match we've all been waiting for, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. This match was amazing. The beginning and middle of the match were so great. The action just kept going with Bryan's mockery and the heart in the match. It was just so perfect. Personally, I went into this match not caring too much, but about 10 minutes in and my heart was beating hard for Daniel Bryan to win. Unfortunately, the ending of the match was not as amazing as the beginning. We had a ref bump when Edge got in to make it the 2 count before earning a super kick from Jey Uso. He then grabbed the chair, brought it into the ring before getting hit with a running knee by Bryan. Bryan then grabbed the chair itself and went to hit Roman, but instead hit Edge. Bryan locked in the yes lock on Roman, who then tapped, but Jesus Christ, there was no official to see it! Edge then hit Bryan with the chair and Roman. Did Edge just turn heel? Or, Reigns then covered Bryan for the win. This match was really great, and if it wasn't for the crazy interference at the end, I would have given it a perfect 10, but because of this, I am going to have to give it a 9.5. I am really hoping Bryan is added to the Mania match, especially if Edge did turn heel. How can you have heel Edge versus heel Roman? Praying Bryan walks out of Mania with the title for one last run. So with all that said, WWE's Fastlane earns itself a 7.6. But that is it for this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell icon so you get notified when my NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania reviews come out in a few weeks' time. But if you want to stay tuned with my thoughts on current things happening in wrestling and my immediate reactions to those things, go ahead and follow my wrestling account, Jerry's Pro Wrestling. And if you like pop culture, go ahead and follow my pop culture Instagram, JerryTheKing1223. But with that, I will see you in the next one.